Hi guys, I'm back again with another video. So in this video, guys, we will basically be talking about how can one overcome emotional trading. Like for you to be able to trade without experience, you can feel emotions, but just so you don't take those emotional trading decisions by following a systematic plan or way in your trading. So I have written the notes down on my phone right here. So I'm just gonna go through them, right? One by one. So the first stage when you are about to trade or before you can even trade. So obviously we know that the first thing that one has to do is to analyze. So analyzing is a crucial thing to do because guys, you're basically focusing the market. You're trying to create and see scenarios in which we can see spot out probabilities and the possibilities. So when you find a setup or an opportunity, because usually people say that if there's no setup, then there's no trade. So depending on your trading rules and your kind of setup, you need to look at that, whether the market does comply with your trading rules and the kind of setups that you are trading, right? So when you have found that setup, the next important thing to do is to weigh the risk to reward, meaning that how is your stop loss? Is it wide? Is it tight? Or are you happy with it? How much pips or money percentage of your account are you going to risk from off of that setup? Because then it will free you from taking emotional decisions because you more like have a predetermined setup. And actually no, not setup, you have like a predetermined setup because you would have analyzed, and also a predetermined risk to reward, which is you'll basically know how much you are risking per trade and also how much potential return there is in that particular setup, and whether there is a possibility or it's more like a probability trade or a setup. So that is the first step into overcoming emotional trading, right? So the second stage, or the second step throughout all of that, is then when you have found this setup, you have now got to record and write that down, which is in a trading plan. So your trading plan is your way in terms of how are we going to get involved in that setup that you would have spotted. And also, if you are happy with the risk to reward, then a trading plan comes afterwards, because then you actually write it down in terms of what's going to be the entry price, what type of pending order are you going to use, and also where are you going to exit the trade, or is it what type of trade is it? Is it a breakout, or is it the top of a trend line, which is a third touch maybe at the top or a second touch at the bottom? And also, what phase are we in? Are we in an impulsive phase or are we in a corrective phase? Then all that goes into your trading plan. You can also keep your before screenshot and your after screenshot for the last stage. So the last stage is going to be actually, so I'm combining everything else. So that's important. But when you have your before and your after, it's where you look at what you focused at and also what the market did. But that is the last step. So for now, we're on the second stage or step, that after you've spotted the setup, then the next important thing to do is to devise a trading plan, which is writing down all that you would have seen and also the scenario that you think is going to play out, the possibility and the probability. And then you move on to the third step. So what is the third step, guys? So the third step now, which is now when the market conditions meet your entry for criteria and all the requirements that you would have set in your trading plan for the market to comply with, and then you go into that trade, which is you enter the trade. Now you execute that trade like you have a conviction, because you would have done the proper planning. So now there's no need for you to fear to go through emotions or wondering what the market is going to do, because if you were happy from the first step that like you're happy with in terms of the risk to reward, and you were satisfied with it, then even if you're not in front of the charts, you don't have to worry about what is the market doing. Is it going to end up as a loss? Because that is not something we'd have control over. Because the nice thing would be you knowing that I am going to lose this much if those trades end up as losses. So then, is there any reasons for any of us to feel emotions or go through the motions when the trade doesn't go our way? Certainly no, because like I said, if you have done all these three steps by four, then obviously you just gotta move, trade in the zone, move with the market, and also allow the market to play out, which is allow it to invalidate you or invalidate you, because one thing that we do know is that at least we do not have control over that, and that which we do not have control over, we don't focus on, right? So let's move on, guys, now to the fourth. Yeah, I won the fourth one. So this is one of the crucial things, guys. I also had like problems, experienced a lot of problems when it comes to the stage. So when you are now in the trade, then if it's going in your way, you manage that trade. Or even if it's not in profits or it's in losses, but you're trying to look at where are you going to enter again if the market hits a stop loss. So that is one of the most important things after you have entered the trade, because the hard thing is to enter that trade or finding that setup and then actually executing it. So that a lot of people can analyze, but when it comes to execute or to act on that they have seen and planned, then that's where they start to feel emotions and the fear. So what you're trying to do here, when you're now in that trade, the next important thing to do is for you to manage that trade. If for example, the trade is in profits, then that's where you write down whether you're going to use, for example, a trailing stop, or where you're going to put your stops, where you're going to exit the market, and all of that. So that is how you manage the trade, which is where are you going to add positions if the market continues or persists going into the direction that you would have anticipated initially, right? Then that is the stage now, because so each stage that you would have had, you just tick whether you have done it or not, right? Unless the market cuts you short, but either way, you have to go through these stages so that you can measure where you are at, because it's nice, guys, to have things that are measurable, where you can see whether you're making progress or not. So like I said, guys, the fourth stage is for you to manage that trade, and also manage your analysis, which is if you have to move trend lines, adjust to the trend lines, comply with the current market conditions. For example, if you're in a trade and then this trade is running up until the next day, it's up to you if you want to restart the analysis over again, or now that the market has a new price, you got to move the trend lines, the support and your resistance, and also what kind of patterns that you see now playing out. So that is one of the most crucial things that you have got to do, right? So let's go now to the fifth point, which is the second last one. So now that, guys, we have done all these past four stages, right? Which is analyzing, finding the setup, creating a trading plan, and following your rules, and then entering the trade and managing. So what is the next step from that? I know you know that. So the fifth step after all the fourth ones is for you to exit that trade. So you can either exit the trade if the market has hit your stop loss, or if the market is approaching or has approached your take profit level, right? Because sometimes, remember, guys, Forex market is an imperfect market. Sometimes it does not necessarily have to go and hit that TP level, because, for example, it can be a near miss, meaning that it can slightly be away from your take profit level before it changes direction. So the most important thing now is that if the trade is in profits, and then let's say maybe you've reached your daily target, then the next thing that is important for you is to exit that trade, right? So after you have done that, whether it hits a stop loss or you take profit level, or whether you close it manually, right? So the last step or stage now when you are in a trade, so that you do not act out of your best interests, right, is reflecting. Meaning that, guys, whether it's on a daily or a weekly or a monthly, then you got to reflect on your wins and your losses so that you can see where did you get it right, so that you can replicate that going forward. And also, where did you get it all wrong, so that you can be able to see where your mistakes were at, and also how can you rectify that. So that is the last step, guys. So if you watched up until the very end, I would like to say a huge shout out to you and thank you. All right. So, and also, if you want more videos like this, guys, please just do me a favor, hit that like and subscription button so you can get my next video the next time I upload. Thank you so much for watching up until the end. I'll definitely see you guys on the next video.